Hello, I'm Ling Hung from Hanoi and you're watching the live morning edition of VTV News. Here are the headlines of this half-hour bulletin. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc presented the government's socio-economic report to the National Assembly. A conference in Hanoi reviewed 10 years of implementing the Politburo's Resolution 36 on overseas Vietnamese. Mother Goddess worship proposed as a UNESCO cultural heritage. And first up, the 7th session of the National Assembly officially opened yesterday morning, May 20th, in Hanoi. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc presented the government's socio-economic report to the National Assembly, which revealed that the country's macroeconomy is becoming more stable, raised standing issues, and highlighted the heated EC dispute.
The government's report stated several better socio-economic indicators than last year, which showed that the country's economy is recovering. The government also reported on the undertakings in the beginning months of 2014, such as the implementation of the Resolution Number 1 of the 2014 Socio-Economic Development Plan and National Budget.
With concerted efforts of the whole political system, the business community and the people, there were positive socio-economic results in the first few months of this year. The economy as a whole is more stable with balanced indicators. April's CPI increased only 0.88% over December last year, the lowest gain in 4 years. Market prices are basically stable. Interest rates continue to drop. The foreign currency market is controlled. April's export turnover increased by 16.9%, import turnover increased by 13.7%, resulting in a trade surplus of $684 million.
In economic development, the reports presented that the GDP increased by 5% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2014. Agriculture, forestry, and fishery all enjoy growth over last year. The industrial production index thus far this year increased by 5.4% by April. And the number of the newly registered companies increased by 8%, with a 16% increase in capital and 5,800 enterprises returning to business. In the first 4 months of 2014, 487,000 new jobs were created, a 2.4% increase year-on-year, and 34,000 people went to work abroad. However, the report also revealed concerns over the difficulties and risks ahead.
The socio-economic situation is not stable yet. Credit growth is low and the resolution of bad debts is slow. Many of our people still have difficulties in getting jobs and in living, especially poor households and ethnic minorities. Many policies are being implemented slowly.
On solutions for the rest of the year, the government identified the central goal is to continue to stabilize the macroeconomy and implement solutions to resolve issues in business and production, increase growth, and improve the investment environment. The government's report specially highlighted the issue of China's unlawful installation of the Haiyan Cu-981 oryx in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and Vietnam's opposition to the move. The government have cracked down heavily on those who caused violence and public disorder and plans to protect the business environment for foreign investors.
The 8th ASEAN Defense Minister meeting, or ADMM, takes place in Nay Pyi Thaw, Myanmar from the 19th to the 21st of May. At the event, the defense ministers discussed cooperation plans and peaceful measures to the problems in the region, including the escalating tensions in the EC.
The conference opened with a minute's silence for the late Laos Defense Minister Duong Che Phichit, who died in a recent plane crash. The recent volatile situation in the EC was discussed. In particular, the delegates talked about the illegal installation of Chinese oil rig Haiyan Cu-981 in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. They showed their concern over the growing tensions in the East Sea and confirmed to make their best efforts to find peaceful means to resolve this issue.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're looking at all possibilities to ensure that there is a peaceful resolution to all these cases. We do hope that we are able to come up with a peaceful resolution.
I think for peace and stability in the region is very important for all countries in the region. They need for all of us to remain calm, restrained, and also the need to work on the DOC and COC is very important for the region.
At the event, the ministers discussed and adopted the Regional Defense Cooperation plans for the 2014 to 2016 period. In addition, the delegates also agreed to establish hotlines between the ASEAN defense ministers.
President of Vietnam Fatherland Front VFF Central Committee Nguyễn Thiện Nhân has said that Vietnam has been comprehensively implementing solutions to enhance its population's quality, contributing to the country's sustainable development. This statement was made during his reception of Arthur Ecken, representative of the United Nations Population Fund or UNFPA in Vietnam on May 20th. Nhân stated that in order to cope with increasingly imbalanced sex ratio at birth and rapid aging of population, Vietnam needs technical and financial support from UNFPA. In response, ICANN highly appreciated the role of VFF in Vietnam's demographic achievements and assured that UNFPA was willing to help and coordinate with VFF in the promotion of demographic policies. A conference was held on Tuesday morning in Hanoi to review 10 years of implementing the Politburo's Resolution 36 on overseas Vietnamese. Let's take a listen.
The decade since the implementation of Resolution 36 NQTW was reviewed at the conference, while future prospects for policies related to the overseas Vietnamese community were also drafted. President Trương Tấn Sang spoke at the conference.
The party views the overseas Vietnamese community as an integral part of the country. Every overseas citizen is part of Vietnam, no matter their unique situation, with similar rights and responsibilities. I suggest we discuss this issue more candidly and relate to realities of the situation. You should speak from your heart in order to find the best solutions to review the resolution's contents on economics, politics, culture, and education.
The party and the nation have always recognized the role that the 4.5 million Vietnamese living overseas play in the development of Vietnam. For the past 10 years, together with other efforts, Politburo Resolution 36 on the overseas Vietnamese community has contributed greatly in connecting and directing overseas Vietnamese home.
Reviewing the resolution after 10 years, we can see that our policies in every specific area have provided better focus on our people overseas.
In addition to the achievements, several reports from conference delegates raised outstanding issues which, to different degrees, had minimized the effectiveness of overseas Vietnamese help to the country. The conference once again asserted the important role of overseas Vietnamese in Vietnam's development and international integration, and proposed additional policies and specific objectives to effectively utilize the resources provided by overseas Vietnamese.
Through Resolution 36, we want to create favorable policies that benefit overseas Vietnamese, thanks to which our expatriates will be more likely to pay greater attention to their homeland.
After 10 years of carrying out Resolution 36, overseas Vietnamese have increasingly been welcomed as an integral part of Vietnam, and there has also been many more opportunities for them to contribute to creating a better Vietnam.
A delegation from the Department of Insurance under the Ministry of Finance on Tuesday met with local authorities and visited a number of enterprises in Bingzheng province. These companies were affected by the recent riots in the area, protesting against China's illegal placement of an oil rig in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The department's officials stated that local authorities should work closely with businesses to detail the damages that occurred during the rioting. These reports, the officials note, would be essential to supporting the firms with the appropriate levels of compensation to effectively resume their production, highlighting Vietnam's commitment to ensuring a favorable business environment for foreign investors. Foreign businesses in Bingzheng have resumed production almost a week after riots by workers in the area. Many of the firms have met their deadlines thanks to the support from the Vietnamese authorities.
Kaiser Furniture Joint Stock Company resumed their production on Monday after almost a week of halting production. With the majority of workers back to work, they were able to deliver 30 containers of products for exports on time.
We have almost 4,000 workers returned to work. Thanks to their eagerness, we have exported 30 containers today. The recent incident in Bingzheng has affected our production, but we are overcoming it.
Meanwhile, over 90% of enterprises in VSIP Industrial Park have resumed production. Although public order has been restored, businesses still hope to receive more support from the authorities to maintain their production security.
We hope the local authorities and police and security can continue their support, so our company can continue unaffected. We also want to see order and security maintained so workers can concentrate on their jobs.
As the industrial park returns to normal schedule, workers are happy to return to work. We're very happy to return to work. Our livelihoods will surely be affected if business don't resume their production. Moreover, the recent visit by State President Chung Teng-sang further assured foreign investors the government's efforts in maintaining a good investment environment for them.
The police force has provided us with nearly 200 policemen protecting our company, so we have no worries when resuming production. We are impressed with the President's visit and the attention from local authorities given to foreign investors.
As foreign investors resuming their production all across Vietnam, the Vietnamese government is doing their best to maintain the security and stability of economic zones to help the nations remain an attractive investment destination.
Moving on with other news, a conference on investment and trade promotion into Russia was held on Tuesday, offering an opportunity for Vietnam and Russia to speed towards their target of $10 billion trade turnover by 2020. The Moscow Cultural Trade and Hospitality Center provides all a one-stop address for enterprises, providing office space and other facilities. Russian representatives said they regarded Vietnam as a long-term business partner. Vietnamese business people anticipate huge opportunities for exports to Russia thanks to a future free trade agreement and customs alliance between the two countries. Vietnam exports mobile phones, electronics, computers, textiles and seafood to Russia. Nearly 400 companies participated in the conference. A Hanoi court reopened the high-profile trial of 9 former executives from Asia Commercial Bank, or ACB, and an associated company on Tuesday. ACB's co-founder and former vice chairman Nguyễn Đức Kiên faces charges of engaging in illegal business activities and intentionally violating state regulations on economic management, in addition to fraud and tax evasion. The other executives, which include ACB's former CEO, chairman and deputy chairman, have been charged with intentionally violating state regulations on economic management. The trial was adjourned on April 16th after one of the defendants, 75-year-old Chen Sun-za, filed a motion for a continuance with the court. Za, former Minister of Planning and Investment, and also ACB's former chairman, asked to be absent from the proceedings due to his health problems. The resumed trial is scheduled to last until June 5th. Coming up next on VTV News, cultural artifacts exhibited in Hùng Vương Museum in Phú Thọ province inspire a sense of pride in the nation's origins. Mother Goddess worship is proposed as a UNESCO cultural heritage.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Representatives from 20 countries gathered in Hanoi on May 19th and 20th to share knowledge on author copyright protection in the world. Hosted by the International Confederation of Authors and Composers Societies, or SAISAC, the event has drawn attention of many national centers for music copyright protections across the world. Vietnam has been a member of the SAISAC since 2009. So far, Vietnam's Center for Music Copyright Protection has been working on the rise of some 2,800 local artists. It has collected more than $250,000 from copyright fees for ringtones, karaoke versions, and websites that offer digital music. In celebration of the International Museum Day on May 18th and the 124th birthday of President Ho Chi Minh, Hùng Vương Museum in the northern province of Phú Thọ has organized an exhibition to inspire a sense of pride in the nation's origins. More than 600 rare artifacts are displayed at the event.
Artifacts on display at the exhibition include celadon enameled ceramics from the Lý and Trần dynasties and brown enameled ceramics from the Lê dynasty. These artifacts range from worshipping items to decorations and household appliances. The highlight of the exhibit is an original Đông Sơn bronze drums dating back 2,500 years.
Besides ancient artifacts dating back thousands of years, we also display old objects from the feudal era, representing Vietnam's fight against northern colonialism. I think these artifacts have significant cultural values like the Đông Sơn bronze drums or bronze drums of the Hmong ethnic. Phú Thọ province tops the nation for the highest number of Hmong bronze drums.
The history and culture of Vietnam is vividly displayed through these artifacts. Together with private collectors, Hùng Vương Museum has gathered items from several northern provinces in the country. We have contributed over 100 objects to the exhibition. We are trying to collect and preserve these artifacts in a bid to maintain and promote the Vietnamese cultural values for younger generations. Besides artifacts dating back thousands of years, the exhibition also has 21 stones taken from 21 islands in the Spratly archipelago on display. These items send a message of a united Vietnam with a long history that cannot be divided and compromised from foreign forces.
The Vietnamese Cultural Center held a reception for an art exhibition featuring artists from Ho Chi Minh City and Laos yesterday in Vientiane, Laos. The exhibition was organized to honor the 124th birthday of the late President Ho Chi Minh. The exhibition features 25 paintings and sculptures by Vietnamese artists, along with artworks by local artists. The exhibition aims to introduce Vietnamese people, natural heritage and culture to Laos, contributing to the strong tie between the two countries. The practice of Mother Goddess worship was recently proposed as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. The decision was officially officially be made in November 2015. The rituals of Mother Goddess worship are traditional religious practices in Vietnam and were first proposed to UNESCO 4 years ago, but received heavy criticism from international experts. However, during the recent conference to consider an amended proposal, the practices were recognized for their cultural value as they have withstood the test of time and offer a unique cultural aspect of the country. Hanoi and Nguyễn Văn Tị has been meticulously collecting photographs and writings of President Ho Chi Minh for the last 45 years. His collection now encompasses 4,000 pieces from different periods in the late president's life and career. In our next story, let's take a look at this impressive collection.
At 98 years of age, Nguyễn Văn Tị is still remarkably healthy and perceptive. He is able to recount every detail about his image collection of late President Ho Chi Minh.
Many of these photos were taken during the resistance wars against the French. Some show Uncle Ho discussing strategy with General Võ Nguyên Giáp, Trường Chinh and Phạm Văn Đồng. Others show him crossing forts and streams. These photos are rare, so I treasure them a lot. My favorites are those of Uncle Ho and little children, both Vietnamese and foreign.
Tị started collecting photos of Uncle Ho since 1969. He has also cut out images and teachings of the late president from newspapers. To date, he has garnered nearly 4,000 photos and teachings of Uncle Ho. The collection is divided into 26 albums, all carefully captioned.
I like to arrange the photos in albums as I go. I started collecting upon Uncle Ho's passing in 1969. After I retired from my job at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I have continued expanding the collection. I'm still at it now. It's been almost 50 years since I started.
Tị hopes that his collection could come in handy in schools as teaching materials so that children can learn more about late President Ho Chi Minh.
The Cultural Center in our hamlet has a reading room where everyone can come and look at the collection on 2 evenings each week. I think that's really useful. The collection includes teachings by President Ho Chi Minh, and that still hold great value today.
By continuing his quest to collect physical memories of President Ho Chi Minh, Tị is doing his part to honor the virtue and intellect of the late president, a deed that will be treasured by generations to come.
VTV News will now continue with some online news about Vietnam.
Danish processing group Aspersion will close a deal for the plant in Vietnam it currently leases in the summer, as it plans to ramp up production in the country, according to an article on undercurrentnews.com. Aspersion will increase production from 40% of its 10,000 metric ton capacity to fully utilize the plant as part of a 24-month business plan, said its CEO Claus Nielsen. As a result, the company will go from employing 300 to about 700 workers. The next story comes from TTRweekly.com. The Vietnam National Administration of Tourism estimates the country welcomed over 745,000 international travelers in April, representing an increase of 21.51% over the same month last year. China was again the top producer with over 216,000 visits, growing 41.56%, followed by South Korea, Japan, the United States, and Malaysia. All of the country's top markets are in the Asia-Pacific region, with the exception of the US and Russia. The bulk of arrivals in April passed through the 2 main aviation gateways, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. The second annual ASEAN Music Festival will be held in Hanoi late this month by the United States Embassy in the capital city and CAMA Vietnam. The event will see performances of bands from the ASEAN region, including Protocol Afro from Indonesia, Big Bag from Myanmar, pinholes from Singapore, and stylish nonsense from Thailand, according to Deutsche News. Art and community groups in and around Hanoi will also join to cheer up the festival. Themed ASEAN Pride Celebrating Diversity, the event aims to promote the cultural vibrancy of nations in the Southeast Asia region, as well as to raise ASEAN Pride awareness.
Foodbusinessnews.net reports Cowgirls has opened its first cocoa technology transfer centers in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu. The center, which was built at a cost of $60,000, will be the first centers to serve as a cocoa training campus for about 2,000 farmers in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, Đồng Nai, and Bình Thuận provinces. Together with other technical training programs, it will help farmers improve yields by 30% to 50% in 3 years. The company said it hopes the new centers will equip farmers to thrive by providing the right skills and expertise. According to WorldCoffeePress.com, plans are afoot in Vietnam to uproot nearly 100 million coffee trees as part of a replanting initiative. It is a process that will not only limit the amount of coffee that the country can grow, but it will also impact export income over the course of the next few years. The average age of the coffee trees are getting too high. Trees that have been exposed to over 2 decades worth of harvest are likely to average around 1 ton of beans per hectare. That number is remarkably low when compared to much younger trees that can yield 150% more crop. The People's Committees of Central Thanh Hóa Province and a Vietnamese group broke ground on a $57 million golf course and international standard resort projects on Sunday. The FLC Sam Sơn Golf Links, to be built on an area of 92.4 hectares, will consist of an 18-hole golf course, high standard villas and hotels, and eco-friendly system including trees, lakes, and greensward. The project is slated to be completed within 10 months from now.
And now let's take a look at the weather updates. And that's the end of this edition of VTV News. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.